Hello folks, welcome to the Digital Marketing 101 KPIs or Key Performance Indicators episode. Now that we feel more comfortable with traditional advertising options to your marketing goals, let's go ahead and get a bit more aggressive about our sales tactics. Of course, you can always count on traditional advertising for brand awareness through channels like print, radio, film, broadcast, television, and cable. However, those options can be less than transparent in their campaign metrics and do not provide real-time methods for measuring and adjusting your campaigns to improve your bottom line. So if you wish to continue to focus on brand awareness, I understand its perceived value, and of course you can go ahead and advertise through the Super Bowl, 150 million eyeballs, 30-second spot, what was it, $7 million? Nonetheless, right, if you want to go ahead and expand your reach and validate your own experience that the wireless Internet of everything has taken over, then this section focusing on 21st century digital marketing is just for you. So, did you know that this year more Americans will surf the internet from their cell phones than from their desktop computers at home? By the end of the decade, there will be more cell phones than humans, and this trend to enable them with broadband streams, GPS, cameras, and electronic wallets is nowhere near over. So, if your mouth is not salivating at this prospect right now, perhaps it will be by the end of this section. So, 77% of all businesses already have a website, and they're reaching out to their consumers online during any of the phases of strategic planning, tactical development, implementation, and monitoring using display networks, advertising agencies, affiliate programs, email campaigns, heck, even social media, mobile advertising, and search engine marketing. So there are a few key performance indicators that will help you in your interdepartmental team better understand how to monitor each of these and reach your milestones more confidently. So let's dig in. Marketing goals number 1 and their key performance indicators. What are we talking about? Reach. Now, in order to actually monitor key performance indicators for reach, here are some of the values to consider. The number of impressions served, the number of visits, the number of new unique visits, the percentage of returning visitors, the percentage of new visitors, and of course, visitor demographics. We talked about those in traditional advertising before. At this point, with the reach, you're looking at the cost of revenue tracking revenues like CPMs, cost per mil. Now, let's move into response, another marketing goal. So, tracking responses using KPIs such as search engine use, referring domain, search key phrase, search keyword, number of responses, number of unique responses will allow you to issue you and to ensure that you're maintaining your return on your investment. And of course, the revenue variable would be CPC, cost per click. Now, we'll stay in this side for the acquisition and retention. So, acquisition, KPIs, we're looking at page stick, landing page, page slip or bounce rate, average number of visits per visitor, average number of pages per visit, and average time to conversion or to purchase. The revenue tracking variable would be the CPAs, cost per acquisition. And in retention, the last stage, okay, for the KPIs, we're looking at frequency, average frequency, return action value, and lifetime value. Again, The CPA, the CPA would be your revenue tracking variable and methodology. So let's go to SEO now. And that's search engine optimization, part of SEM, which is search engine marketing. So while performing SEO, the website can improve reach, solicit response, and acquire new customers, the results can take 3 to 6 months to be fully realized and can last somewhere between 1 to 2 years depending on how competitive your industry is. Now remember that by 2020, 40% of all purchases will be online, and more than 90% of them will be searching the web for product information or a better price, even while at the store that they're purchasing from. And so since more than 50% of web users never click on paid ads, it is important that you optimize your website for search engine optimization. Take into account that more than 60% of web searching and 40% of all digital advertising takes place on Google. So your product and service needs to be optimized for Google, first and foremost. Now, yes, you will work on Bing and Yahoo and Baidu and all of the other search engines that come up, okay? But 60% of web search and 40% of digital advertising on Google makes me think that we should focus on Google first. So, how does SEO work? Well, it answers the question for every possible consumer type that you want to target. So that when they type their search query looking for Rick Markets, or a service or a product that you provide, your information shows up before your competitor's information catches their attention. This area right there is called the SERP, the Search Engine Results Page. And studies have shown that consumers usually click on the top 3 links and have an attention span of about 10 seconds. That's it. That's their attention span. 10 seconds, and then you're off the hook. So once your landing page is displayed, before they decide to continue deeper with you or go to your competitor's site, so it should take you less than a week to optimize a website for Google SEO, but depending on how many pages you have, it may take longer. So remember that you do need to resubmit your sitemaps.xml, your robot.txt for the spiders and the crawlers to actually do their job. And that should be done pretty regularly, depending on how often your content changes or your content strategy. But how do you figure out this content strategy? Well, it's called a self-analysis or a keyword search. So it's available for your on-page and for your off-page. Now let's flip those around, on-page and off-page popularity. Now, by finding out what keywords or key phrases are being used by your consumers to talk about you and look for your products, well, researching your company in the same manner can help you understand what separates you from them, okay? To thy own self be true, I think it's the saying that comes to mind, But remember that in order to be different, you must at very least be equal first. So you need to know your enemies closer than your friends sometimes, okay? So, once you find the short and long-term combinations, you can decide which have a higher probability of getting your company to the top of the search results page and insert them into your file names, into your HTML code to ensure proper densities. Use them in your meta tags. Use them in your H1 tags, in your cascading style sheet, inside external files, internal code, external anchor links and internal file links, titles, descriptions, and all tags for video, audio, and all your multimedia assets, as well as for the internal HTML code on your web pages. Basically, your entire website should be written strategically to reflect how your consumer looks for you, and now how you see yourself. Furthermore, remember that the search engines have a very specific algorithm that they use. Those are the methodologies, the way that they index content, the way that they rank web pages, and then the way that they serve that content to consumers. So understanding their algorithm and taking into account the fact that Google, for example, has had pretty much on a yearly basis a new algorithm from penguin to panda and new ones every year. So whenever they change their algorithm, you need to change your optimization. So, for example, persimmon is not as valuable as it used to be in the past. Now, keyword stuffing is what they call it. So, if it doesn't sound easy enough right now, it's because it isn't. Okay? But don't fret it. In the tools of the trades, we're going to see many applications that can facilitate this process. And remember that whenever your business processes change or the algorithm change, you need to change. You need to re-optimize again. SEO is not a one-time fix and forget, but a constant choice. Let's move on to PPC, pay per click. Now, direct buy networks, agencies, search, mobile, email marketing, classifieds, where PPC may come to play. So PPC has two main players currently, online classifieds and directories, which are slowly making their move on sites like Craigslist and eBay, billing almost $3 billion US per year, or 6% of the entire PPC sector. Now, for now, let's go ahead and focus on the $20 to $30 billion that will be spent on ads every year by both display networks and SEM companies individually, and this is roughly until 2020. Now, the breakdown would be 20% banner, 10% video, 5% sponsor, and 5% rich media. Okay? So, display networks. Now, display networks have been around since the onset of the web, with companies like DoubleClick, now owned by Google and sponsoring the SMX West sponsored sessions in 2015. Now it's called Google, right? While consumers spend less and less time on vertical websites when researching websites, as little as 5% versus 95% of search engines, it is interesting to note that both display and search share almost the same percentage from the digital spend at about 40%. Now, the display ecosystem and the search ecosystem holds many players between advertising, publisher, and audience, including Interclick, Ad Exchange, DoubleClick, WPP Omnicom, IPG publishers. Now, ad networks like Google, Yahoo, Interclick, Ad Exchange, and DoubleClick, and AdBright, and search engine platforms like Bing, Ask, and Baidu. Now, there are, of course, many others in the supply chain: demand aggregators, yield optimizers, shopping feeds, and DSPs. And these players have either licensing models or a percentage of media spent. Now, they use CPM, cost per thousand rather, to determine pricing, as in this case with demand-side platforms that that aggregate demand and increase performance of the advertisers, allowing them to bid on a single impression basis rather than on a CPM or per mil, similar to the SEM below. Now, the search marketing model, okay, takes the lion's share of attention, since it is much more easily accessible to small business owners and does not have strict requirements in equipment, process, or even knowledge. It is sold on an auction basis to the highest bidder and has been very popular with small to medium business-sized companies looking to sell online, as it does not even require a shopping cart. Now, Google, for example, uses a simple formula to determine the ad's rank based on the following variables: CPC times CTR times QS equals SERP. Let's translate the formula for you. So CPC, cost per click, refers to the highest bidder getting the highest rank on the results page. CTR is the success rate of your ads and how often it is clicked because of the compelling text relevance to the search query. Last but not least, we have the QS, the quality score, which compares your ad's text with your landing page to ensure that they are relevant to each other. So, if you play by the rules, you will be placed as close to the search results page in relation to what other bidders have bid for that search query and they're willing to pay. It's an auction system after all. And so the top three go to the top three bidders. So research your customers' persona by funnel, copy, landing page, understand your lines of business, ad groups, keywords, key phrases, exclude your negative keywords, manage your bids, whether they be implicit, explicit, manual, or auto-ranked, to maintain your page rank with broad exact match types to phrase. Exact matches increase relevance. They are excellent in bidding words. And remember that search engines, Yahoo and Bing, have their own algorithms and their own dashboards and their own developer APIs. And so get ready to learn a lot and have some fun. Well, that's PPC. Let's talk about PPP. Now, PPP programs are extensions of the sales force. They're referral and affiliate middlemen between merchant and consumer, with independent networks to audit performance in the case of affiliates. Now, the difference between the two programs is that on the referral, the lead is generated out of goodwill and honest love for your product from the referrer. Now these referrers come from the merchant's active customer base, and they love the product or service so much that they want to refer friends and family. Yes, they are rewarded for that sale, but that is not their primary motivation. So the relationship would be merchant, which is the brand, refer, which is your current customer, and consumer, which would be the new customer. Now, affiliates, on the other hand, okay? They work only as hard as their commission, unless they're cooking stuffing. Now, think of these affiliates as independent contractors that increase your brand's awareness. They create lead generation and ultimate revenue streams for free. These companies and entrepreneurs are selling their merchants' products using content sites, syndicated content, comparison sites, coupon sites, or promotional sites, bloggers, and even virtual game currencies, or even game directors, with little risk to the merchants, who only pay them if there's an actual sale made from their efforts. Think of it like outside sales. Merchant, which is the brand. In the middle, there's the network, that's an auditor, and the publisher, that's the affiliate. And then on the other side, you again have the new consumer, the new customer, okay? Now, why an auditor, okay? Well, don't get me wrong, okay? There are risks with this relationship, okay? Especially to the brand name, Better Business Bureau, sales, but for the most part, if monitored correctly, i.e. the auditor, the publishers, right, activities, you should have an easy time, of course, in terms of monitoring, and the learning experience alone would be worth the risk. Never mind the potential increase in traffic and sales. So a major risk, known as cookie stuffing, I mentioned that a second ago, occurs when the publisher benefits from a merchant's customer during the checkout process. Now, in the shopping cart, the customer decides to search for a free discount code or a coupon. They open a new browser window and they type in discount code. Now, when they click on those links that are displayed, their landing pages set first-party cookie values with those publishers' cookie values. And when the user returns to complete the sale already started, the publisher takes the credit. Now, the publishers are not entirely guilty of this. It's not necessarily a conscious because they're using SEO, PPC, and display. But this and many other issues fuel distrust in the system. And so merchants and affiliates need to have those independent auditors to track those problems. For those reasons, many merchants and officials simply choose to use an outside company known as a network as the middleman. CommissionJunction.com is one of the most successful, even if they charge a flat fee of $500 a month or take 20 to 30 percent of payments from the merchant's account because they resolve those conflicts. Typically, 4 to 20% of the sales. So, how do you get started in all of those digital marketing options? Well, the next 7 pages, okay, and the tools of the trade before you move on to the industry research. And of course, the sample industry highlight, which I chose the music industry in the publication. So, this is Rick Marquez from the wirelesscowboy.tv and the wirelessproducer.com. Thanking you for joining us for this episode on Digital Marketing 101. Remember, next month we're going to be talking about self-analysis, competitor analysis, and marketing analysis. But if you don't want to wait and you want to get the entire report, don't forget you can purchase that today at my blog at thewirelesscowboy.tv, on maccloud.com, at maccloud.com using the WPLV24 tagline, or on any of my social media networks, including Twitter, YouTube, and Ustream. So stay tuned for next month's analysis report. And of course, we have just 2 more reports until the beginning of the 2015 season, which of course is going to be on March 1st. I'll see you then.